Hello and welcome back to another episode of Tastie Dine. Today's recipe, we tackle hot cross bun, which is a spiced sweet bun made with currants or raisins marked with a cross on top and traditionally eaten on a Good Friday such as today. It represents the crucifixion of Jesus. The spices represent embalmment after his death. These hot cross buns are traditionally eaten on a Good Friday such as today, and they are super fluffy and soft, fairly sweet with a little bit of a zingy touch. Shall we begin? To start, here's what you'll need. You'll need 150 ml of warm milk, the kind of warmth you'd give to a baby, 10 grams of instant dry yeast, and added to the warm milk, you'll need sugar because sugar supplies energy to the yeast, hence helping with the blooming and doubling in size. So mix and set it aside in a warm area for at least 5 minutes. For the sultanas or raisins, add hot water to soften them up, so set them aside for at least 5 minutes. Now let's check up on the yeast. It's well activated, meaning our yeast has doubled in size. It's well foamy at the top and smells like fermentation has done its due course, similar to that of beer, if you know what I mean. So what I'm doing right now is just mixing the foamy part on top with the rest of the liquid mixture to be ready for the next step. Now let's prep the other wet ingredients. Add 1 egg to a bowl and the activated yeast mixture and combine that very well. Add a tablespoon of vanilla extract and mix everything once again. So I'm adding a little twist of lime juice. I'm adding 3 tablespoons of freshly squeezed lime juice. Then combine everything well together. Now onto the dry mixture, you'll need to sift 2.5 cups of all-purpose wheat flour together with salt and other dry spices of your choice. In my case, I'm using my go-to favorite dry spices, which is cardamom, cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves. And while using nutmeg and cloves, a little does go a long way. They're very powerful ground spices. So once you've gotten everything onto the sieve, sift the dry ingredients together. This will help aerate the mixture and also avoid any lumps while mixing with other ingredients. Give a little stir to the sifted mixture and combine everything properly. Now on to the next step. For the hot cross buns to have a zingy effect, I'll need to incorporate sugar and lime zest. This will be a dry rub, so in between your fingers just rub the two together and the oils from the zest will be incorporated in the sugar and it will be very aromatic, very flavorful and fragrant, and that's when you know the two mixtures combined are ready to be used. Add the lime sugar mixture into the dry ingredients and incorporate that together, and this will give the mixture such a fragrant and flavorful plus zingy feel and taste to the whole cross buns. Now to prep the dough, you can manually do this, but I'm too lazy for that and I have a stand mixer, so I'm going to maximize it. So I'm just adding the dry ingredients, margarine, and now the wet activated yeast mixture into a standing mixer's bowl. Attach a dough hook onto the stand mixer and start kneading it at low speed for at least the first 5 minutes. After 5 minutes of kneading, add in your softened raisins or sultanas and with 3 added tablespoons of all-purpose flour and continue kneading for another 5 more minutes. The dough should be still very sticky, so keep kneading the dough until it's very soft and very elastic, which will not be sticky but still tacky to the touch. When you can feel that resistance when you take back your finger after touching the surface of the dough, that's what we mean by tackiness. At this point, the dough is ready for the first proofing. So we're going to remove it off the stand mixer's bowl by using a rubber spatula to remove all the dough. Lightly stuck at the bottom of the stand mixer's bowl onto a lightly oiled yet bigger mixing bowl for the first proofing to start taking place. Transfer the tacky dough onto a lightly oiled mixing bowl and gently press it down just to make sure there's no air bubbles trapped in between. Cover it with a cling film and set it aside in a warm area to double in size for at least 1 hour 30 minutes. In a small bowl, add half cup of water and half cup of all-purpose flour to prep the mixture for piping the cross. Mix the two ingredients together until a wet paste is formed. And this is the consistency we are looking for. Add it to a piping bag and set it aside. Our dough should have risen or doubled in size by now, so remove the cling film. Lightly dust your work surface station with all-purpose flour. Transfer the dough onto the surface and try remove the air out of the dough with a gentle knead using your fingers and palms by first spreading out the dough, then bringing in the dough to the center, then repeating that same process over and over again for at least 3 more minutes. This process will help remove any trapped air in between while kneading at the same time and also making the dough very pliable and soft. Now, using a bench scraper, divide the dough into 4 equal parts. You can continue dividing the dough, but I settled with 4 equal parts for now because we aren't the biggest fans of bread. Then roll each piece into a circular shape and transfer it onto a baking tray. Then cover with a clean kitchen towel to double in size. After 45 minutes, it should have doubled. Start piping horizontal and vertical lines on each bun. These crosses are a symbol of the significant day in the Christian faith when Jesus was crucified. So each bun is decorated with a cross made from a flour paste, which represents the cross of which Christ died. Remember to preheat your oven for at least 15 to 30 minutes before putting anything in the oven. Once you're done making the crosses on each particular bun, place the buns in a preheated oven to bake for at least 15 minutes at 180 degrees C. As the buns bake in the oven, we will be preparing the orange marmalade top and shiny glaze. So add 2 teaspoons of the jam and 2 teaspoons of warm water. Mix that well together and by using a pastry brush. This is to give a fruity flavor and a shiny touch. So in place of the jam and water mixture, you can use a sugar syrup, but make sure the syrup is slightly thicker. How gorgeous do this look? They are still warm and I'm about to dive in. This is how cross buns look like. Very soft, very fluffy, sticky to the touch because of the marmalade jam. But then again, let's take a look inside. How fluffy does this look? Oh, it smells amazing. I wish you all could smell this. Oh, and it's warm and fluffy and soft. And if you can find time, please do make this hot cross buns.